Today we're going to do solving two-step equations. We've been working on one-step equations where you multiply or divide or add or subtract to solve for a variable. Today we're going to make it two steps. Okay? What you do, you treat it just like normal. You split it where the equal sign is, and you have to keep both sides equal, meaning what you do on one side, you do the other, and you solve for the variable. You want to get the variable by itself. What I do is I read it to myself. I see what is being done to the variable. And you're going to go in reverse order of that, doing the opposite. So if it's 3 times a plus 9, order operation, so I would times by 3 and then add 9. Okay, I go in reverse of that, the reverse of order operations. Adding 9 is the last thing I did, so I'm going to subtract 9 first. So 3a is left on the left, and 24 is on the right. Then I see 3a is equal to 24. This is just like we've been doing. All right, we see it 3 times a. To undo times, you divide. A must equal 8. Which I have to check my answer to make sure I'm right. So I do 3 times 8 plus 9. 24 plus 9 is 33, so a must equal 8. Any questions? Here we have 6x plus 1 is equal to 25. I look at what's being done to x. I'm timesing it by 6 first, and then I add 1. So I do the opposite. I go in reverse of order operations. Since I added 1 last, I'm subtracting 1 first. This leaves me with 6x on the left and 24 on the right. Then I see that 6 times x equals 24, so I divide both sides by 6. X must equal 4. Then I check my answer. 6 times 4 plus 1. 24 plus 1 is 25, so x must be equal to 4. Alright, so we have 4x minus 5 is equal to negative 33. I look at my variable, I see what's being done to it. I'm timesing it by 4. And then subtracting 5. So I go in reverse order of that. I add 5 to both sides because I want to get x by itself eventually. Negative 33 plus 5 is negative 28. I see 4 times x, so how do I undo multiplication?
Divide.
I divide, thank you. We divide both sides by 4. X equals negative 7.
Is that right?
So I look at what's being done to p. It's p divided by 5 minus 12. So as Evan said, I would add 12 to both sides to get rid of it. So we have 32 on this side. We have p over 5 on this side. So since I have p divided by 5, to get rid of the 5, I have to multiply by 5. And 32 times 5 is 160. 8 equal to 15 plus n divided by 3. So I split it in half. Okay, what I do to one side, I have to do the other. I look at what's being done to n. I'm dividing it by 3 and then adding 15. Order operations say I would divide before I add. So we have to go in reverse of that. We have to subtract 15 to both sides.
Why do you have to subtract?
So 15 we cancel out. 8 minus 15 is negative 7. We have n divided by 3 over here. How do I get rid of division by 3?
Multiply.
I would multiply both sides by 3.
And then you would cancel it out.
N is equal to negative 21.
Ooh, girl.
Right, which I can check my answer, right? Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. 15 minus 7 is 8, so n must be negative 21. I have negative 1/6b minus 3 is equal to 2. I look at what's being done to b. I'm timesing it by negative 1/6, and then I'm subtracting 3. So we go in reverse of that. We add 3 to both sides. Gives me 5 on this side, gives me negative 1/6b on the other side. Now we need to get b by itself. Okay, and if you remember, we have a fraction times b. How do I get rid of a fraction? Can we divide? Okay, we can't divide fractions, so instead what we do is we multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of negative 1/6 is negative 6 over 1. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. Which negative 6 over 1 is the same thing as negative 6. So 5 times negative 6 is equal to negative 30. We have 9 minus x is equal to negative 34. So I look at what's being done to x. I see that it is being subtracted from 9. You have 9 minus x. Now usually you like to keep the variable positive, but in some cases you can't do that. In this case it's negative and it's going to just be that way. So I don't worry about the minus sign in front of x. I worry about getting x by itself. So you see that it's 9 minus x. So I need to get rid of 9. How do I get rid of 9? I subtract. Because 9 is positive, is it not? Okay, because if I did plus 9, 9 plus 9 is 18. Does that get rid of 9? No, it adds 9 more to both sides. So instead what we do is we subtract 9. We look at the sign in front of 9, which is positive. So we subtract 9. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I have negative x is equal to negative 43. Now, this is when you have to be careful. Your answer is not negative 43.
What?
Because it has negative x is equal to negative 43. We need to get rid of the negative sign and make it positive. The variable has to always end up positive. So what I do, okay, and I'm going to show you how it works, okay, show you why, and then I'm just going to show you the trick that I need you to do, okay? But I'm going to show you why the trick works before I show you the trick, okay? If you remember that I can say x has a number in front of it, what would be that number? 1. Right?
Yep.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? 1 is always times x, right? So I can say it's negative 1 times x. Which, how would I get rid of negative 1 times x? How would I get rid of negative 1?
Take off the negative.
I would divide by negative 1, right?
Yep.
Okay? What is negative 43 divided by negative 1? 43. Okay? So that is what you do theoretically. Here's all I need you to do. If you make x positive, make this positive. Okay? Or, okay, so here's your answer. But let's say it comes out this. Negative x is equal to positive 43.
Oh.
Okay? I make x positive, and I make 43 negative. I just change the sign. I change the sign of the variable, and I change the sign of the other side. Okay? I do that by dividing, or I could actually do that by timesing by negative 1 to both sides. But I don't need you to write that out. All I need you to know is to make a variable positive. You change the sign there, you change the sign on the other side. Okay? We have negative 6.5 is equal to negative 4.3 minus n. So I have to get n by itself. So I would add 4.3 to both sides. That leaves me with negative 2.2 on this side and negative n on the other side. Okay, remember, I change the sign for my variable. I have to change the other sign. If it was positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. Okay, so n is equal to what? 2.2. Here's your sum.